Cleoni from IamCleoni.com. I am here with
Brittany Gilmore.
She's actually my volunteer administrative assistant, and basically we're going to talk about mental illness. I have a few questions that I'm going to be asking Brittany. She actually has 2 family members with a mental illness with bipolar disorder, so we just want to chat about it. So my first question is, why do you think it's very important to bring more awareness to mental illness, especially in the church?
I just think a lot of people, they don't really know, they're not very informed with mental illnesses, symptoms, how people with mental illness can react on a breakdown or psychosis. And if you're not aware of the person's symptoms, to see these things happen out of the blue, sometimes it's a completely different person coming out of the affected person.
Right.
I just think it's very important for people to be aware who has mental illness in the church.
Yes.
What their symptoms are like, how they like to be treated, because every single person with a mental illness is going to be needed to be treated differently.
Right.
So you can have 3 people with bipolar, and each person with bipolar is going to want to be treated differently.
Yes.
When they're having their crisis moment, or and I just think it would help the church and just the community
in general.
Yeah, just to know how to handle someone in a crisis situation.
I have to agree with you, because for some people who have a mental illness issue, they'll say, call the hospital. But as for me, when you call the hospital, for me, that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
It's something that actually tends to make me, more antsy, and it just doesn't work for me. I have different support systems that I've set up, like my counselor and my music.
Yeah.
That is very important. It keeps me calm, it keeps me focused, and allows me to express myself. And different people need different treatments, just like you were saying. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, even if they have the same illness,
right.
Every person is individually needs to be treated their way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The second thing I'd like to ask you is, how do you think mental illness affects our churches?
Well, it definitely affects the church when, like, for example, our church is getting larger. It's growing larger, and it's going to continue growing larger. So you're going to get a vast majority, like a range of people, different people coming. We already have a good handful of people in our congregation who do battle, that we know battle with mental illness.
Right.
There could be more that we aren't aware of.
That are undiagnosed ones.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Or just the ones that aren't as severe, so they're not so outspoken about it.
Right.
I think it affects the church because for the more severe mental illnesses, like my mother's mental illness, she's bipolar, and when she has a breakdown, it can really throw people off just because of the lack of knowledge. And like I mentioned before, she's a different person. She does things she wouldn't normally do. She says things she wouldn't normally say. And from people who see her a certain way on a regular basis, when they see that, it's just a shock to them. And a lot of people don't know how to handle the situation. They turn their nose up to the person. They can be scared. The person who has the illness can give reason to scare people.
I see. I have to agree. I mean, one thing I also noticed that, in the end, people genuinely want to be, to be helpful.
Yes.
However, many people just don't know what to do.
Yes.
And hopefully, by educating them, it will help them to, be able to be of better service.
Yes.
And the church typically is a great place.
Yeah.
However, when they are misinformed, it could be very traumatic to people who have a mental illness. And so I just think that if we allow the churches to be informed about it, they will be better able to serve in that sense.
Another thing an idea that I had that you and I have spoken about previously, for our church with a larger congregation like ours, with hundreds of people, lots of professionals in here. We have lots of nurses in here, or people who do work with mental illness. One of the ideas that we talked about, I think it would be a great idea for the larger congregations or the larger groups of people to gather the people who are affected by mental illness, who have been diagnosed themselves, and gather the nurses, the health professions in the church.
Right.
And I think we should have a little small group, a sit down, discuss how each individuals would like to be treated when they have a crisis moment, and just so we are better able to proper the situation.
Right, right. Okay, that makes sense. And the next thing is, why do you think Happy Home 42 would be a great initiative for our province and even the church?
I think it brings a lot of light to conversations that people aren't really up to talking about. Mental illness, a lot of people they shy away from talking about their problems, their diagnoses, their illnesses. And I just think it's a fun way, because you have the people sitting down at the table, people ranging from ages. So you've got young children, teenagers, adults, people coming from all different walks of life. I think it would just be very informative, and I think it's a great idea because you don't have many other sources that are publicly putting stuff out for people to see, giving information from personal experience from people dealing with mental illness.
Wonderful. So do you have any final words that you'd like to say and to let everyone know about Happy Home, about me, whatever you want to say? Yes.
I just wish you all the luck.
Okay.
I believe in you, and I think you're going to do a great job, and you're going to do great things, and I totally support everything that you're doing with spreading the word on mental illness.
Wonderful. Well, this is Cleoni Crawford from IamCleoni.com signing out. Take care, God bless you, and see you soon.